The day the thievery of the cat takes him to court, the mouse will be in attendance until he is sent to jail. Ansuma, dasba, mimamachi, ekaro, kwalafia. Good morning, subahul khair, bonjour. In this episode, we are going to our next story, and that is I was raped by a madman. And it's in the Gossip of Volume 2, Number 5, page 4. Let's read on Namshin. I've kept my horrid experience with a madman a year ago to myself, but the incident has been haunting me all this time. I cannot wipe it out of my mind. I cannot wipe it out of my mind. I've conducted tests which have proved that the madman did not give me any venereal disease, and I've come to realize the fact that at least a madman also has sexual feelings, just like any normal person. I've also realized the need for me to come out open with my encounter so that I will be free once and for all from my mental torment. Finally, I believe other female readers would learn a lesson from my account and not wander around secluded places unaccompanied. I'm an advertising executive. This madman, and they don't rape ordinary people. Big, 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 big women. I don't know whether he saw it in her word. I don't know. Okay. I'm an advertising executive, full stop, executive. I'm an advertising executive. My work starts from Thursdays through weekends, and on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I am off duty. I live in one of my company's block of flats in the center of Accra. After 5 days of hectic hustle and bustle at the office and in town, I find the atmosphere at home too noisy. So I drive to one of the beaches outside Accra to cool off and have a quiet time. Let me add, with a madman. Okay. I choose Tuesdays for such quiet times at the beach because on Tuesdays, fishermen do not go fishing, so the beach is deserted and very quiet. I normally send around a basket full of lunch, sandwich, and soft drinks, a camp bed, and a novel to while away the time and enjoy my privacy. On that fateful day in February last year, I was wearing a bikini under a long t-shirt as I drove to the beach at the outskirts of Accra. I parked my car. That's paragraph. I parked my car, removed the camp bed from the boot, and fixed it under a coconut tree where the sun would not shine directly on me. I then went back to the car and brought out my food basket. I placed it by the camp bed and lay down to read an interesting novel. The madman will read you. Well. When he says last year, that means somewhere 2001, yes. Okay, to read an interesting novel. After about 30 minutes reading, I opened the food basket and brought out a packet of yogurt, opened one and placed the rest in the basket and proceeded to eat the yogurt. Then a shadow flashed across my view. I sat upright, and standing a few feet from me was a madman. He only had a piece of dirty cloth around his waist. Mhm. Mhm. We are going there. Uh, his body was glistening from seawater. He might have just finished washing himself in the sea. I thought to myself, I am someone that does not get scared easily. I knew a little bit about how to handle nonviolent lunatics. My aunt is a psychiatric nurse, and she had given me tidbits about how to handle mentally deranged people. The madman was looking, paragraph, the madman was looking intensely at the yogurt I was eating. I could see he was interested in the yogurt, so I took one from the food basket and held it out to him. He grabbed at the yogurt and started sucking it greedily as he walked to a far distance and sat down to enjoy it. The madman is not mad, he's wise, just to deceive you, to give you confidence that he's not an attacker. Eh? Let me use the word terrorist. He's not a sexual terrorist. Hmm? Down to enjoy it. I should have there and then packed off, but I did not feel any sense of apprehension being on the beach alone with this madman. Yes, I tell you, it was wisdom. He deliberately said, let me move away from this woman to give her confidence that I'm not dangerous. Hmm? I thought having satisfied him with the yogurt, he will walk away satisfied. Paragraph. To my prediction, after he had finished with the yogurt, he walked away. I went on reading the novel and felt drowsy, so I turned round and lay on my stomach on the camp bed and fell asleep. Uh-huh. As, as the sun rose, I felt hot, so I pulled the top of the bikini down, exposed my naked breast. Paragraph. Since there was nobody on the beach, I pulled off the bikini, leaving only my thin pants on, on lay face down on the camp bed and dozed off. Kai. All of a sudden, I felt strong arms pressing my shoulders down. I tried to turn myself face up. The strong hands still gripped my shoulders firmly onto the camp bed. I twisted my face back and saw the madman hovering over me. He was naked, his manhood was erect, and my heart gave a leap. Kai! That was the biggest and longest penis I had ever seen in life. I don't know whether these stories are real or genuine. I don't know. True life experience. Well, it's written there, true life experience. Hmm? True life experience. Hmm? I don't know whether she's intimidating it. Okay. That was the biggest and longest penis I had ever seen in life. I did not want to upset the madman so that he would hurt me. I relaxed my shoulders, and to my utter shock, he pushed his hands into my pants and grabbed at my clitoris. Please, I'm reading a story. Pardon me. And grabbed at my clitoris. He did it gently, and I was surprised at myself. I felt some I felt some sensation. This is the weakness of this, how women can be weak. Once you touch that area, no going backward. I felt some sensation. My mind was fuddled. I could not understand what was coming over me. Here was a madman who had pinned me to the camp bed on a beach with no one around, and and I am allowed, and I'm allowing him to play with my private part. What could be wrong with me? As these thoughts filtered through my mind, the madman ripped my pants off. Kai! I was stuck naked and pinned to the camp down on my back. I decided to practice a little bit of martial arts that I had learned. I brought my legs up to hook his neck, thinking the impact of the leg would uh, thinking the impact of the leg hook would scare the madman and he would release me and run off. But that was mere child's play. The more I pressed the pressure of my legs on the madman's neck, the more it excited him and made him even stronger. Kai! Okay, made him even stronger. He held my back with iron hands, and he with the other hand, he caressed my clitoris and deeply inserted two of his middle fingers into my private part. Maybe it was the beginning of madness, or he was pretending to be mad. I don't know. Anyway, this is left for viewers' discretion. To his middle fingers into my private part. I gasped in pain, which gradually turned into ecstasy. I decided to let him have his way. I decided to let him have his wish. It was better for him to do whatever he wanted to do than for me to resist further. He could hurt me badly, and who would be there on the deserted beach to rescue me? But why should you go alone? Well, in a beach where you have seen nobody at all, you go and stay alone, you a woman, in bikini, eh? Light dress. No, 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 no. I think there's something wrong with this story. Anyway, let's go on. He could hurt me and who would be there on the deserted beach to rescue me? To my disgust, the madman did not do whatever he wanted to do for me to get rid of him. He removed his hands from my underpants and started to caress my breast. His palm was his palm was thick and very rough. No, I mean maybe he wants to say thick, but it's written thick here. So let me correct it. His palm was thick and very rough. It was like using sandpaper to caress one's breast. Kai! All, all the same, surprisingly, it gave me the excitement I needed and aroused me more. She's confessing this confession and aroused me more. It is surprising the female body responds to even rough caresses of a man, be he sane or insane. Yes. I had already resigned my fate to the sexual desire of this strong madman, at least to save my life. So why couldn't I enjoy the whole thing? Submission. Hands up. She pushed the hands up. Or she raised the hands up. Submission. So why couldn't I enjoy the whole thing? Apart A part of me, a part of me resisted the disgusting way this mad man was toying with my passions and body. But the more I tried to repulse any feelings of ecstasy, the more my body yielded to his rough touches. He placed his manhood at the tip of my vagina and with brute force inserted his big tool deep into me. I screamed, but he may not have heard or have an idea why I screamed. Straight away, he began to fuck me in the roughest and meanest way I had ever been fucked. Kai. His penis filled me. His penis filled me up to the way no penis had ever done. Full stop. Not even that of my boyfriend, Elvis. who was about 8 inches long downwards. Full stop. Every thrust he made was effective and registered an impact within my loins. His thrusts were really hard and fast. That was exactly how I liked love making. Go back to him when you finish. Yeah, you woman like you. Huh? Okay. After the initial pain of the forceful entry after the initial pain of the forceful entry had settled, I began to enjoy myself. The pleasure increased with each moment. All of all of my body, all of my nerves in me received the excitement. I moaned and screamed this time out of this time not out of pain, but out of optimum pleasure. Mhm. He too was enjoying himself. He was making all kinds of sounds and noise that indicated how well he was enjoying himself. This is an old story, to a more than 20 years old story. Eh? How well he was enjoying himself. He gripped my waist tightly with his hands and he fucked me with a supersonic speed that I had not experienced in my fucking life as a fan lover. Oh, well, I don't know. Could this story be true? Hmm? At last, he got, at last, we got to our climax almost at the same time. I came first and he followed in a moment. The excitement made him growl out loudly like a wild animal. Hey! As soon as he had finished ejaculating, he withdrew and crashed to the ground. Hey! Some men are. Hmm? And crashed to the ground. I wanted to attack him and beat the hell out of him, but the spirit was willing whilst the flesh was weak. His violent love making had satisfied me so much that all my limbs were weak. He got up and walked away as I went to the shore to smear my whole body with sand and jumped into the sea to have a thorough wash. Fell in the sea to have a thorough wash. Anyway, uh, I cleaned my private part with seawater for some time, and without wiping myself, I packed my things into my car, wore only my long t-shirt, and drove home. At home, I had a thorough bath and immediately consulted my doctor. Tests he made on me showed that I had not contracted any venereal disease. However, I could have not been able to wipe out, however, I could have not been able to wipe out that experience from my life. Full stop. Since then, I don't go to the beach any longer. But whenever I remember the incident, I instantly get the desire for sex. Mhm. And that is what is worrying me. I hope with time I will forget about the Casanova madman who raped me on the beach. Story ended. Mm. Okay, we'll finish with encounter with a cheating native doctor. Yes, we haven't done this story. Why Dr. Bickley uses padlocks on him? No, we've done that one. This one, village where only women die. Village where only women die. village where only women die. Scientific research has shown that the lifespan of women is longer than that of men. According to scientists, the average age at which most men die is between 70 and 80. A few of them are able to live beyond the 80 brackets. On the part of women, scientists say that they can live beyond 90 into the hundreds. However, in the village of Ogoja, Calabar State, in the southeastern part of Nigeria, the opposite is the case. Women in Ogoja die before they reach the age of 60. The men in Ogoja, on the other hand, are able to live up to the ages of 85, 90, 100, and even 140 years before they die. The Ogoja citizens are a well-to-do community who engage in groundnut and other cash crops like cashew and yam farming. They are rich because they work very hard on their farms and export their farm produce across the southeastern border of Nigeria to Cameroon to earn lots of CFA. So you see, Nigeria is a very big country. There are hardworking, honest people. Their population is so big that when a small fraction of them is evil, it looks like the whole of Nigeria is evil. Mm. There are good citizens there. Hardworking people. Okay. Uh-huh. Border to of they are rich. Let me repeat that. They are rich, the last one. They are rich because they work very hard on their farms and export their farm produce across the southeastern border of Nigeria to Cameroon to earn lots of CFA francs. The women are not left out in the crisp's, granite, cashew, and yam farming business. However, although they do not do very hard, strenuous work, they don't live long as compared to the men of Ogoja who are predominantly polygamous in nature. They marry as they marry as much as five, six, and at times seven women with whom they work on their farms. As a result of the short span of the Ogoja women, their menfolk do not want to marry just two or three women at a time. The rationale behind their polygamous nature that is is that if some of their wives do not live for long and die, there will be other ones to hold the family together, and then the need and when the need rises, more wives would have to be married to fill in the gap created by the deaths of previous wives. Continued on page 8. Let's see. So page 8 seems to be the cover page. It's here. Continue from page 3. Okay. The women of Ogoja, lead lead by Queen's mother. Sorry. The women of Ogoja, lead by their Queen Mother, have tried all forms of spiritualists and occultists to find an antidote to the problem of their short lifespan on earth, all to no avail. there's a mistake here. I think it should be led and not lead. So let me correct it. The women of Oguja, led by their queen mother, have tried all forms of spiritualists and occultists to find an antidote to the problem of their short lifespan on earth, all to no avail. Uh, as a result of this state of affairs, most beautiful young women of Ogoja village have deserted their hometown. Most of them have traveled to other states like Enugu, Kaduna, Kwara, to mention a few, to run away from their imminent early death. Unfortunately, such Ogoja women do not find husbands when they run away from home. They turn out to be prostitutes. eh, it is only when they return back home that they get suitors. The calamity, paragraph, the calamity has been a worry to both Ugoja men and women, and the elders of the village have consulted spiritualists and men of God to counteract and deliver the souls of Ogoja women from the claws of demonic spirit which has been tormenting them to die early in life. Story ended. Let's go back to page 4 and see if we finished it. So, encounter with the cheating wife complete. It's completed. Verify only women die completed. So, on page 3, why Dr. Begley uh, encounter with Joseph, I will say, okay. Then page 5, marriage bliss, we've done it. I was led by a madman, that one to finish it. What we will do now, where we are going now, is sex after 35 years. Why it is difficult, why it can be better. Yes, Namshi. And that's on page 5. Um, what is this? My loss. I think we've done it. I think we've done it in the early mid 40s and spans 4 or 5 years during the pre during the perimenstrual period. A woman's vagina tissues may become thinner, drier, and slightly with that. Unfortunately, pleasurable intercourse may now feel uncomfortable, even painful. Comparing 77, comparing 77 healthy married men ages 45 to 74 is less shown than sexual interest. That sexual interest, desire, and activity. I don't know if you've done it. Pardon me, viewers. Sometimes there's something wrong with my head. Mhm. Okay, let's leave that, and then if I'll check. If we haven't done it, we will go. We will come to this sometime. Let's do this one. Oh, this one too is finished. Okay, let's do this one. Even if we've done it, no harm in uh, no harm in repeating it. Marriage, according to most people, blossoms as the years increase. However, this has not always been the case with most couples. I don't think we've done it. After the blissful courtship, exciting honeymoon, and happiness of the first birth, most marriages begin to lose their bite and the magnet that made life thick and exciting. A paragraph. A couple married in their 20s and for years they had a rich, full sex life. A couple married in their 20s and for years they had a rich, full sex life, but begging in their late 30s when pressures of work, housekeeping, and financial obligations cropped up. The husband no longer eyed his wife with desire. When she tried to talk about their sex life, he changed the subject. Sex became almost a non event, and their once strong relationship soared. As another couple, as another couple headed into their 40s, their sex life changed too, but for the better. True, they no longer frolicked in the bedroom like newlyweds, but both agreed that the sexual side of their marriage had never burned so brightly than before. Paragraph. What explains the difference between the two couples? The first couple and then the second couple, yes. What explains the difference between the two couples? Knowledge and understanding. So after the question is there's here into brackets, in brackets, knowledge, no, in inverted commas, knowledge and understanding, says a professional marriage counselor. According to the marriage counselor, as couples approach the middle 30s, their bodies, lifestyles, and sexual responses change. And sexual responses change. Hmm. Both men and women undergo physical, psychological, and hormonal changes that are normal. Stop. Gradual and subtle touching of the body, including the most active sex organ, the brain, all change with age. Men and women also recognize what is going on in both what is going on in both themselves and their partners can make adjustments. Men and women who recognize what is going on in both themselves and their partners can make adjustments. Paragraph. For women, some of the changes are caused by menopause, which occurs when female hormones decrease, bringing a halt to menstruation. I think we read it, erroneously read it in attachment to another story. I think so. Paragraph. On the average, comma, that happens in the early 50s, but the process often begins in the early mid 40s and spans 4 or 5 years. During this pre during this perimenopausal period, a woman's vaginal tissues may become thinner, drier, and slower to lubricate. She may lose protective fatty tissues in the public in the public area while gaining overweight while gaining overweight in other parts of the body. For example, the buttocks, hips, stomachs, stomach or chest. I don't think this is public. It's in the pubic. Mm. Let me correct it. She may, if I'm wrong, viewers, you can then correct me. Mm. She may lose protective fatty tissues in the pubic area, not public area, while gaining overweight in other parts of the body. For example, the buttocks, hips, stomach, and chest. Uh, Paragraph. Unfortunately, pleasurable intercourse may now feel uncomfortable, even painful. Not understanding these natural physical changes, she may complain that her husband is being too rough and withdraw from sex. She may complain the husband is too rough and may withdraw from sex. Uh, her husband may her husband may mistakenly believe she has lost interest in him. I say this is a good lesson for the elderly. Mm. Men go through hormonal changes too. Testosterone, which influences a man's sex drive, reaches its peak between 20 and 30 years and gradually uh, decreases thereafter. Studies have shown that out of 1,408 healthy men aged between 20 to 60, 25% should decline testosterone over 4 decades. Uh, Comparing 77 healthy married men ages 45 to 74, it was shown that sexual interest, desire, and activity declined progressively with the decrease in testosterone readings in their bodies. However, their sexual satisfaction is intact in all these cases. Okay, uh, full stop, paragraph. Primarily, as a result of reduced blood flow, a middle-aged man's erections are not as firm as when he was young. Of course, it shouldn't be. But it's not always true. Once a while, they are very strong, solid, fearful erections. Mm. Uh, when he was young, erections are not as firm as when he was young. However, none of these changes should interfere with the full sex life. If a woman has vaginal discomfort, the solution can be shifted. The solution can be shifting of position during intercourse or the use of simple lubricants to be continued. And we can't continue. We can't continue it because we don't have the paper. Mm. But I think this is enough for us. Some lessons can be learned from it. Mm. I think we end here. That is page 5. Next time we come, we see whether we are going back to page 4 to start again or we go to page 6 straight. I shall have to end here. Viewers, thank you very much for listening. Bye bye.